We have only 35 chambers. There is no 36.
I know that. But I want to create a new chamber.
And what would that be?
I think Shaolin techniques should be available to all. So then, that's my idea for a new chamber. To teach the martial arts to the people. Anybody.
Welcome to another episode of My 3 Cents. What I want to say today is be proud of yourself. I just wanted to jump in and say be proud of yourself. A lot of people are working on themselves, working on things, trying to raise a family, trying to be successful. Take a second and be proud of yourself. They taught us a long time ago that pride was of the devil. They taught us that pride was not good, but they tell you to take pride in what you do. Now, if you haven't figured it out, they were mistaken about the whole pride thing. Because you gotta be proud of yourself. Or else you're battling against something you don't understand and you're gonna have a constant fight going on because you can't find love for yourself. And you might start thinking it's gonna come from other places and other people when it's not. If you're not proud of yourself, nobody's gonna be proud of you. So throw out the old narrative of pride. And I think what they were trying to teach us was to not succumb to what we call the ego, the egotistical mind. A lot of us are familiar with the ego. We talk about it all the time. But how many of us can understand that the ego was always going to be something we created? It's not something that's invading you. It's something that's a part of you because it's something you created. Often we talk about the ego like it's a separate entity, like it's something that we can't let have control. So we got to understand that, first of all, this is an internal struggle. The ego mind frame is something a person creates, and it goes along with having a victim mentality. Because with a victim, things happen to you. And when you're no longer the victim, a lot of times you can realize what you had to do with the situation and why it came down to what it came down to. So the ego is something that we have to kind of dissolve. That's how you solve the ego. You dissolve. You desolve. Right? You unbuild what you have built. Don't build an ego. Don't build a place to hide and then be taken over by it. So let's understand that the egoic way of thinking, because that's all it really boils down to. It's not its own persona. It's a way of thinking. And when you can reduce these things down, all you find, every time you find yourself at the center of each of these things. So be proud of yourself. Know the difference between pride and ego. Dissolve the ego. That way there can be no more victim mentality through self, and you can actually progress with a better relationship with self. So let's work on dissolving the ego. And this all has to do with giving yourself credit. There's no difference in giving yourself credit and being proud of yourself. You know, we go through life trying to have good credit. We build credit. We have credit cards. You can swipe credit. But not many of us will give ourselves credit. For some reason, we have been taught not to put our heads down and be humble. But you got to know the difference between being humble and being stagnant in your own growth. You got to know the difference between humility and just plain old ignoring what you're doing for yourself. You can be so humble as to where you'll have nothing. So this is why it's important to understand the balance of humility and being humble. Because that can also turn into an extreme. Right? So you don't have to be a braggart. You don't have to be boisterous. But recognize and acknowledge yourself. Why would we spend so much time recognizing and acknowledging other people and we can't even do it for ourselves? How does that make any sense? So be proud of yourself. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't judge yourself. This all goes along with the theme of things that you always hear me talking about. Exiting judgment. Not being a victim. The chemical complexities of all of us that have us out here doing what we're doing and deciding what we want to do next. All I'm doing is helping break down what is making all these things possible. I'm not teaching you anything. Like I always say, if anything, I'm an educator, because educate or educare just means to bring out what is within. So I have no problem being an educator because I know that everybody that runs into this information is meant to have it. And if it connects with you, that means that it was already in you. I didn't put it in you. If it connects with you, that means you already had it and you just weren't using it in a way that it can be seen this way, right? So all I'm trying to do is serve as something that can help. Because like they always say, either you're a part of the problem or you're a part of the solution. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and say, be proud of yourself. Take pride in what you do. Take pride in yourself. This is something I teach my daughter on a daily basis. Take pride. Be proud. Because what's the opposite of that? Not taking pride. Not being proud of yourself. That can lead to depression. That can lead to you trying to live up to expectations that you're putting on yourself. Stress. Right? Things bend before they break. So don't stress yourself out with a lot of these things that you're actually creating for yourself to go through. So take time, look around, be proud of yourself, acknowledge what you have done, and keep going. Create something else to do. Give it to somebody else once you feel empowered. Once you feel like you got a grasp on some things, look, man, share it with somebody. I always say start with the kids. Because we got the kids living up to a lot of different expectations. And I know this might sound strange, but I don't have any expectations of my daughter. My daughter that I raise, I have no expectations of. I just don't. Because now, does that mean that she won't do what she needs to do? Of course not. Because if I'm instilling in her what she needs to have, I don't have to have expectations. You see how that works? If I'm giving her what she's supposed to have, I don't have to have expectations. I can trust that she'll do what she's supposed to do. It's the difference between believing something and knowing something. I don't have to believe that she's going to do the right thing or do what she needs to do for her life. I can just trust that I'm giving her the right tools. And that when it's time, she will show through action that she's been getting it the whole time. She gets it. So we got to trust them and let them be what they are. Remember what I always say, kids aren't the future. People love to say children are the future, but like I always say, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. That's so adults can wipe their hands of the kids and say, well, they need to be doing this, they need to be doing that. But here's the key. They're only going to do what you do. Period. Bottom line. Zip, zero, zilch. That's it and that's all. They only going to do what you do. Don't cop out and put it on them when you haven't showed them what it is you're expecting from them. See? Now that's what I'm telling you. When you show them, you don't have to expect anything, because that will be their normal way of operating. That will be how they live their life, based upon what you gave them, right? Because it's all about the foundation. To build anything, you first need a solid foundation. I don't build a house and then hope that the house stays up and protects us. You build it with the right integrity. And so then the finished product is a product of your integrity. You don't have to hope and wish. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So take pride and then be proud. Lower your expectations or dissolve them, because your expectations go hand in hand with your ego. Shrink that thing down till it disappears. You really don't have a need for it unless you plan on playing the victim. Take control. Boss up. All you wanna-be entrepreneurs, all of you people tired of going to work for somebody else, you want to create, you want people to invest in you, well, invest in yourself. Invest in everything you got your hands on. What I tell people that are always looking for the next thing is, when you're living in expectancy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't live in expectancy if you haven't laid out the path properly. You see what I'm saying? Because you'll always be expecting. But if you've properly laid out the path of integrity, you don't have to expect anything. Just live in it. It's going to be everything it's supposed to be. So again, when it comes to the kids, they're not the future. You are. Because they can only emulate what you are. They're not going to create a new way to exist in their now. They're going to be what you are now. And what you are now will be our future. It's not the kids, but it is the kids that will be playing the roles of the gatekeepers. Right? They'll be the ones playing out everything that we're giving them right now. That's the only way that they're the future, because they'll be the able bodies. But the plan and the foresight comes now. The foundation comes now. The insights come now. The conversation and the deep talks come now. You have them now, you don't necessarily have to have them again later. So let them be who they are. Be proud of them. This is the same as your friends, your family, anything or anybody you associate with. Let it be what it is. You make the right moves and the right things will happen. Be proud. Don't shy away from looking in the mirror and smiling at yourself. Do that. Do that every chance you get. You pass by a mirror, and this is something that I gave somebody close to me, this technique, some months ago. Just to raise the vibration of self and the things that they wanted to happen in their life, this was a powerful tool to help bring those things around, to help connect you to the path where those things already exist, right? Every time you pass by a mirror, I want you to take a second, look at yourself in the eyes. Do you know how many people can't look at themselves in the eye, but they want to look you in the eye and talk about a deal? When I was real young, I used to go in the bathroom and I would stare at myself in the mirror until it became weird. Now, I know a lot of you have done that. You will look at yourself in the mirror until you actually start to look like something else. and for a moment, you don't even recognize yourself. Now, if that's the case, you need to look at yourself more. And what I found growing up is that a lot of people that experience that thing of going in the mirror and not recognizing themselves after a few minutes, they just stop looking at themselves, and they only go in mirrors for reasons that are, let's say they want to make sure they look good, right? Cosmological reasons. They only look in the mirror to check the appearance. And even sometimes when they're doing that, they try to do it quickly because they don't want to see themselves too long. Just think about that. But all day, every day, we looking at you. Everyone's looking at you. But you can't look at yourself. That's the issue. So if you practice going in the mirror, looking yourself in the eyes are the window to the soul and the spirit. The soul is reference to the connection to the source. The eyes are the way in. It's just a gate. Like the mouth, ears, and nose, they're just gates. What you got to be able to do is look at yourself to where it gets a little bit strange and then keep looking. That's what I did immediately. When I was younger and I found that, it took me, let's say, a minute of staring at myself until it got weird. Then I said, okay, then I need to do 2 minutes. I immediately dove into the thing that was giving me an issue with myself. And I've always kind of done that. I will not be set aside by myself. I will not sit myself aside and have pity on myself at the same time. I would rather go at the thing that's trying to affect me. And 9 times out of 10, it's you affecting yourself. It's nobody else there. It's just you. So a lot of the conversations we've been having since 2020 has started have been about reflection, vision, and really taking a cold look at yourself, because that's what I felt like 2020 was about. Not necessarily clear view, because guess what? 2020 is not the clearest vision. Let's debunk that right now. That is only a standard that they use. You can have 2015 or 2010, right? That's better than 2020. So let's not overuse the vision thing with the 2020. But what really came to me when I saw it, because every year I get a little inkling of what the year is going to bring, and I share it with people close to me. As soon as I get it, I share it. I didn't share it with that many people this year. I normally do mass texts, send messages and say, hey, this is the energy that the year is planning on bringing. And when you have connection with source, connection with self, connection with this realm, it's not hard to foresee. Because you got people that call themselves all kinds of religious things and they belong to all kinds of religious sectors, but they'll watch the news and believe that the weatherman can tell them what's going to happen Friday, right? The soothsayer. But again, this is something directly against your religion, trying to look into the future. Now, I'm not being nitpicky, but what I'm showing you is that cut the crap when it comes to, these different organizations and righteousness and, all these moralistic viewpoints, which are basically just judgments. Let's cut the crap, because you're not doing it either. It's very dangerous when you have people whose sole intention is to, quote unquote, save the souls of other people. That is extremely dangerous and an extremist way of thinking. And it's extremely negative if you want to bring out a little bit of duality right now. It's negative because it's not positive. Because you're going around and you're judging. And according to your judgments, you take an action. And according to your actions, you're patting yourself on the back. It's all for you. It's not for anybody else. Let's be honest. The missions that you put yourself on are to gratify and satisfy something within yourself. It's not a cosmic mission that you were sent here to do. So don't be saying one thing and doing something else. It's best to not say anything. Because truth be told, I would say 99% of people don't know what they're a part of or involved in and have no idea of its origins, its foundation, its purpose, or its point anymore. Because now we argue a bunch of moot points that have nothing to do with right here, now, today. Not to the degree that we're making them important. So with me, 2020 was more about reflection, especially when I saw the 20 and the 20, it all made sense. First, it came from the spirit. Then I was able to see it and recognize it, and I was able to confirm it within myself and say, yes, I see it. 2020, reflection. It's time to take a deeper look within. Not just a look within, but a serious look within. An honest look. What are you doing now? What have you been doing? What are your plans? How far have you gotten? Are you really making moves? How comfortable are you? How comfortable have you been keeping yourself? How uncomfortable have you been able to make yourself while still accomplishing what you're setting out to do? These are very important questions. And I believe that this year, 2020, is the year to answer those questions. What are you doing? Stop talking about it. Take a good look at yourself. If you got plans, if you got great ideas, spread them, share them, but do it with the right people. There's resources out here, and this is even what I'm learning through entrepreneurship, is there's resources out here, but they're not just sitting there waiting for you. You have to actually find them. You have to get on the connection that has them. You got to find the path that has all these destinations on it. Because that's the path that you should be on, obviously. So I just wanted to jump on today and say, don't be ashamed to be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. That's nonsense. It's nonsensical to have so much expected from you in a lifetime, but you're not allowed to be proud of yourself due to religious beliefs? What are we talking about? So 2020, get in that mirror. Reflection. I want you to look past the strangeness until you actually see yourself. And when you get to another level of that, everything around you starts to dissolve, because that's how focused on yourself you actually are. And that's what I told you, man. Being selfish is not a negative thing. It's actually very positive. But the way they gave us the definition and the understanding of selfish, we can't conceive it properly. A lot of times when you're very involved with something, you can't see it clear because you're too close to it. That's no different than holding your hand directly in front of your face, right there by your eyes, and you can't see your whole hand because it's too close. And it's just a way to show you that in life, sometimes you got to step back or hold something back or step out of the thing you've been in your whole life. Why would you still be in something you've been in your whole life? Are you kidding me? Are you saying that you found the one thing that has no fault, that is perfect, but you're still having issues with yourself and your life? So what's really happening? Right? I'm not knocking anybody's religious beliefs, but what I'm telling you is, I just gotta say, stop wasting your time. You're stuck in these belief systems, and that's why you don't know anything. You're too busy believing everything. You haven't even looked into the things you so-called believe in. So what is that? Very important to step back and take a look. Nobody said you weren't allowed to do that. It's only you torturing yourself if you're keeping yourself hostage. That's just you doing that. Nobody's forcing you to be a part of anything. That's the bigger point. You're choosing to. So, take a break. Step back for a second. Look in that mirror real good. Get some reflection. Peer into yourself. Do it once a day at least. And the technique I was talking about earlier is that every time you pass by that mirror, you stop and you smile at yourself. You give yourself the biggest, happiest face that you can. And you communicate to yourself that you are one of the chosen. You got to feed this into yourself. This is a technique that will build you energetically. If you're into manifesting and altering your reality, this is how you do it. By showing gratitude to yourself first. You gotta be a little bit selfish or you won't know anything about self. So this episode is not really as long as what I normally do, and it's not as in depth as I normally try to go. And sometimes I try not to go too deep with things because, look, I don't know my audience. I just know that I'm doing what I feel I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have the best equipment yet. I don't have the best setups yet, but guess what? I'm doing it. That's the point. I can find 101 reasons why this is wrong or too much, or I can create anything I want as a roadblock, but I can also choose not to do that. You see how that works? I can easily choose to be proud of what I'm doing because I'm acknowledging something that came to my spirit. I didn't choose to do this. This isn't for money. It's not for financial gain. This is not my career. This is something I take time out to do because I feel I'm supposed to be doing it. And when I talk to people and get the feedback that I get, people are getting something from it, so I'm going to continue to do it. Even though I'm an introvert, even though it's uncomfortable for me to sit here and talk and be the only one talking, it is not comfortable for me. But I look beyond those trivial ways of thinking, right? Those trivial ways of victimizing myself. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm not going to do it because the information, and I don't want people to know me so well and have this inside track to my mind, but this is what I seem to be giving out. And what better thing to give out than what I got from this place? So it doesn't just belong to me anyway. So I'm going to take this moment to be proud of myself. And even if you come back here and you listen to different episodes, I'm proud of you. Because what that shows is that you want something different. Not only do you want something different, you're seeking something different. These are all steps. So if you get something from these episodes, these little talks, these ideas, this brainstorm session, that's all I really see these episodes. These are one-way conversations. You're having the other half on your end. but somehow we're connected. So to everybody that found this, I'm proud of you. Be proud of yourself. Let's be different together. Look, there's a saying that is very simple. I know you've heard it before, but it has gotten me through many, many times where I felt hopeless and damn near useless in my current situation. If you want something you never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Because everything that you have already done has gotten you to where you are right now. Just think about that. Keep that on you at all times. So this was a relatively quick one. I'm going to try to put out more episodes in the week. I'm playing with my schedule to just rebalance everything that's going on. So to those of you that have returned and caught this little tidbit message, welcome back. To everybody that's that first time listening and this is the first thing you've ever heard from me, welcome. Listen to the other episodes. They all pretty much have the same theme. It's always about self. It's always about reflection, gratitude, and awareness of self. What's happening in your now? Very important. All is self and all is reflection. I'll continue to hit these points with every episode. You will not be confused about my content the more we go along. If you have been confused about anything, you will no longer be confused because I will constantly reiterate these life lessons. I will constantly reiterate them. Don't even worry about that. In the description, I'm going to put my email address. Because I think I've done that before, but I want to make sure I'm giving the listeners the opportunity to reach out to me personally. I want to make sure I'm doing that because I want your feedback. I want your ideas. I want your conversation. And if you want to get with me one-on-one, we can do that too. If you have questions about some of the things I'm saying, I am totally open, without a doubt, to have conversation. That's one of my favorite things in life, is to converse. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. See, remember, debating is good. Conversations are great. The only time debating tries to transmutate into an argument is when emotions get involved. Keep your emotions out of it. Keep your knowledge into it. You won't argue. The purpose and point of conversation or a debate is to learn, is to grow. Is to say, hey, maybe I didn't look into that and maybe this person knows a little something about that they can give me. I'm going to listen. You see? And you're always free to do your own research. And everything I talk about is always something that you can go look up. That's why I don't go too deep in on some of the topics, because I want to give you something to do. I'm not trying to be your personal teacher. I'm trying to give you something that you go home and do later, where you go look something up that you haven't looked up and looked into, and you say to yourself, wow, I never knew this existed. This is great. Because again, everybody that has come to this podcast, you're supposed to. So, hey, it is what it is. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. And like I always say, if you got something from this, give it to somebody, share it with somebody. You can post the links to the podcast. You can do whatever you want to do with it. I have no quarrels with what you do with my podcast. For those of you that support the podcast monetarily, you are very much so appreciated. I got people supporting through the platforms. I also put out the Cash App for $ KOTR36. That is the Cash App handle. And what I do is encourage people to connect their energy with mine. Money is only energy, as is everything else. You gotta know who to connect with. You gotta know who to connect your energy with if you want your energy to dwindle or if you want your energy to grow. It always makes a difference. So look out for some more episodes. I want to try to get deeper in some of the explanations, and that's why the feedback is important. I don't want to lose anybody talking about some of the things that I've found on my journey. I've been on this journey for years, and I'm just now kind of speaking out, and I still don't feel like I'm saying too much. So feel free to reach out to me with your comments and suggestions or just conversation. And we'll go from there. But I'm going to continue to do this until I can't do it. Until something in the universe tells me to stop. So, this has been another episode of My 3 Cents. Little compact episode. And I will see you, or you will hear me next time. And like I said, I'll be putting out more episodes, the more that I can. And I am open to topics and whatever you got. Send them my way. Don't forget to check the description for the email. And I will also put the Cash App in the description just to have it there. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. So this has been My 3 Cents. And like I always say, I always end with wholeness, because I'm wishing you the energy of wholeness. All right? Peace.